What? Hmm? What are you doing, Bonnie? Good morning, everyone. Prepper Nurse 1 here. Overcast yesterday, overcast today. I'm perfectly fine with it. It's actually only be in the 70s today, they are saying, low 70s. And I'm alright with that. Really has felt fall-like here recently, so very interesting. Alright, we're going to jump right into the topic on this one. Trump threatens to federalize Washington, D.C. Because of the crime. And see, here is in this, I'm going to give you strictly my opinion, guys. You have gangs of these kids, 14, 15-year-olds, going out doing whatever they want to do because they know as soon as they get caught for doing whatever, it's catch and release. New York State is doing that same exact thing, catch and release. You know, they kick that can down the road so these kids can just do whatever they want to do and think they can get away with anything. And heaven forbid, if you fight back, you know, then you're the bad guy because you beat up on a teenager, you know. But just as all comes sort of to a head with this latest situation with the young man who was part of the Doge team with a name Big Balls, which is kind of funny. A female companion of his was being attacked by a group of kids. He pushed her into the car, and then he turned to fight them. But, you know, 10 on 1, I don't care how big your balls are, you're not winning that fight, okay? Eventually, you're going to go down. So, he got his butt handed to him pretty badly. He has a concussion and stuff like that. And I know they've arrested, most of them ran away, but I think they arrested 2 of them that were there. And so, but, you know, it's just the whole situation with this not being, when you have people doing crimes like that constantly, something has to change. I'm going to give you a great example because I'm from the Rochester area, grew up in Rochester, New York, surrounding area, lived in Rochester, the city of, for years and years and years. All right, I never had a problem in the city of Rochester because the way I carried myself, the way I look, whatever the case may be, I didn't really get messed with, okay? But there was a lot of people that were victimized in the city, a lot of people, because they look weak, they're small, whatever the case may be. So Rochester was on this big kick for a while. We're going to revitalize downtown. We're going to put all this money into downtown and make it great, and then people will, you know, come to downtown Rochester. Well, here's a fact. I'll give you a fact, guys, all right? If people don't feel safe, they're not going to go. And I said it back then. I said people aren't going to go to downtown Rochester. They're not going to go down there and spend their money and stuff like that because they don't feel safe. If they feel safe, then they'll go. You know, it's a very simple fact. And, you know, they may not verbalize it and they may not say it, but they speak with their money and they walk away from certain areas because of the way the crime is. In New York State, with their whole catch and release thing as well, it's insane. And I'm not talking about minor stuff, guys. I'm talking about, you know, assaults and robbery and, you know, auto theft and all those type of things. And these people are given appearance tickets and set right back, you know, here's your court date, you know, go ahead, release on your own recognizances. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And until something changes, until they get harder on crime, and like I said, these kids, you can't let them get away with that type of stuff. Because if you know, as a kid, are you kidding me? If I knew, like, okay, I'm not going to get in trouble, they'll kick it down the road, I'm a minor, so when I do become an adult, you know, it won't be on my permanent record anyway. You know, because they'll seal those records from when you were younger. Just, you know, like I said, these type of things is just the way that it is. I mean, you know, it's there has to be consequences for your actions. If you want to commit crimes, there has to be consequences for your actions. And it absolutely should start with the politicians. Don't even get me started, okay? but it should start with the politicians. And if they did that, then we would all be in a lot better shape. Because again, it's just, there has to be a reckoning. Now, should Trump federalize? Now, according to statistics, crime in Washington, D.C. is down 26%. Which crime? I have no idea. But like I said, again, when maybe you do curfews for certain ages, so that if they're caught out after a certain time, they get arrested, and hold these parents responsible, letting their kids act buck wild. That's an option. But to federalize it, I don't know if you're going to go that far, but he's just threatening it right now. But, the politicians that run D.C. need to get their heads out of their behind. They need to get harder on crime. Again, you look at which states are people exiting from hugely, right? California, New York, Illinois, and why is that? Why are so many people leaving those states, right? Because high taxes, high crime, people just had enough. People are only going to take so much. And when they've got to the breaking point, they go, well, I'm not doing this anymore. And that's what it comes down to. For me, like I said, leaving New York, many factors. It was taxes. Taxes were outrageous. The weather up there sucks for 6 months out of the year. I got tired of that. The gun laws were ridiculous. In all three of those states that I just mentioned, it's the same thing. You're not allowed to protect yourself. So when you're not allowed to protect yourself, the criminals can do whatever they want because they know that most likely you are not going to be armed. It's totally different down here. Everybody assumes that everybody else is armed. And that's how it should be. If you think that maybe this guy might have a weapon and is able to defend himself, even though he's, 110 or 120 pounds, you're going to think twice about doing something stupid. That's a fact, okay? Gun laws do not affect the criminals. Gun laws affect the law-abiding citizen. It restricts the law-abiding citizen. So that's where your issues are, guys. That's where the problem is. So, think about that. I want you to think about that because that's a fact. That is a fact. Anyway, I hope everybody's doing well. I will be, tomorrow is Thursday. I will be live streaming tomorrow. I will see you all tomorrow. We will do a live stream at 6 o'clock for hardcore members, 8 o'clock for everybody else, and then I will also be live streaming on Sunday, just putting that information out there for you guys. All right, I hope everybody's doing well. Have a great day. I will talk to you all later. Prepper Nurse 1, out for now.